The Green Bay Packers had a dominant win on Sunday Night Football, and now they get to host the New Orleans Saints here in Week 16. My name's Tyler, here with my brother Ryan. We're going to break down the Saints-Packers Week 16 matchup. But before we do that, we want to give a huge shout-out and thank you to everybody that subscribed to the Tracy Take. You all helped us reach our goal of 6,000 subscribers for this within this calendar year, and so we greatly appreciate that. This is your first time here, or if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ring that bell to get notified when new videos come out. Leave a like and a comment. Let us know who you think will win and why. And Ryan, Green Bay Packers looked dominant against the Seattle Seahawks. I actually picked Seattle in that game. I thought it was going to be a much tougher fight, and Seattle just didn't really want to show up. And not only did that, they didn't really show up, but also, too, Packers gave them a lot of reasons to not show up. Packers just looked super dominant. Jordan Love and that offense looked great. Josh Jacobs and company just had a phenomenal running game. 140 yards total as a team as well. Jordan Love, 20 for 27, 229 yards, and really stymied the Seattle Seahawks offense as well, which I think was the key to that victory, was slowing down Geno Smith and company. They're going to be going up against a New Orleans Saints team, and it's been super well documented on just how devastating their injury list has become. And even, too, it's gotten even a little bit worse. Looks like Alvin Kamara left the game with a groin injury as well, so his status is going to need to be monitored. Defensive back Kool-Aid McKinstry, he also left the game as well. It is classified as a stinger, so maybe he just got his bell rung and just took him out for the game. So we'll have to monitor that status. Spencer Rattler's probably going to be the starting quarterback, as Jake Haener got benched for Spencer Rattler, and that was actually when the team was making their comeback against the Commanders, which they nearly pulled out. I think a lot of the teams in the NFC, including my Falcons, we were actually weirdly rooting for you Saints fans because we're trying to stay in the playoff race here and needed the Commanders to lose another game. So with this game, though, it's to me, just looking at it, just the Packers are just healthier overall and just a better team in general. Ryan, kind of want to talk more about the Packers just in general. How do you feel about this Packers team? Because we kind of saw this as well last year, where this was about the time when they started to make a late playoff push and everything was starting to click. Now they have Josh Jacobs. Well, I feel like their running game is significantly better as well. Do you think they can make another deep run into the playoffs here and potentially surprise a lot of teams?
Oh, yeah. No, I definitely think they can make a run. This is a very talented team, and one of the things that is so difficult about this offense to defend is just the fact that they themselves, like, they don't have one key guy on offense that they like to hone in on. They have a really good run game with Josh Jacobs. They can block well for him, but then they can also go out. Christian Watson is having a good year. He's been healthier this year than he was last year. Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Dobbs, like they have so many weapons. Tucker Kraft, they have so many different weapons that they can use to attack you. And like we joke on this channel, like they have a wide receiver by committee because it's just whoever seems to be in the game plan for touches that week. So I think that like this is a really tough offense to go and defend, and they're getting healthy at the right time. I like what they've been able to do, like offensively is like and defensively, and getting healthy at the right time is very big. I think we definitely saw the difference there between them and a banged up Seattle team last week. So I think this team is primed for a late playoff push. They really only have one tough game, and that's at Minnesota. They have New Orleans this week, and then they have Chicago at home in Week 18. So I think this is a team primed for just a solid into the season. You look going into playoffs, they're going to be in a wild card spot just because they do have 4 losses, and the Lions have 2, the Vikings have 2. So I guess mathematically they're not eliminated, but I would say more than likely they're going to be a wild card team, probably at that 5th seed. So they're going to get a pretty favorable division matchup, probably playing that NFC South division champ.
Well, yeah, definitely the goal is going to be you want to be the 5 or the 6 seed as well, because you're going to be going up against the NFC South or the NFC West champ. And Packers Bucks will be a really fun game, but you might almost have to lean towards the Packers if the Bucks end up winning the NFC South. And then a Packers Rams game. I'm pretty sure actually they played both of those teams. No, so they beat the Rams earlier in the year. They haven't played the Bucks yet. And so that will be very fascinating to watch if that does pan out that way. But division's still also kind of up for grabs as well with everything going on with the Lions. Who knows what can happen over these final 3 games? As you said, they're only 2 games back from Detroit. So when it comes to this game specifically, the thing to me is I think that the Saints defense is just going to have a tough time slowing down this Packers offense. And on the flip side, actually, too, as well, they might even have a tougher time moving the ball against this Packers defense, which shut down this Seahawks offense, who has better weapons. Offensive line, you can make an argument maybe is a little bit worse, but the Saints offensive line has been banged up for majority of the season. They're getting a little bit healthier. Eric McCoy and some of the guys are coming back, but they've also suffered some pretty rough injuries that it doesn't set the team up for success. And then you still have Spencer Rattler in the backfield as well. So one guy to watch for the Packers, Quay Walker, he did leave the game also as well with an ankle injury. So have to monitor his status. Maybe they rest him as like you still have to go out and play the game, but this might be a game where you can go and rest Quay Walker and know your defense is still probably going to be able to take care of business because of the lack of weapons overall on the Saints sideline as well. And offense is still probably going to do a decent job, I think, taking care of business when it comes to facing the Saints defense. And it being at home is just going to be a huge advantage up in Lambeau. So, with this, that kind of though, I think it's pretty obvious kind of who I'm going with, and so want to throw it over you though because I feel like it's pretty obvious you're going with the Packers. What do you think the Saints can do to potentially pull off the upset before we wrap up the video?
I think if they can force some turnovers, I think that they could keep the game close. They have to capitalize on mistakes that the Packers might make, and I feel like the Packers really hold the keys in this situation because if they can't, or if they don't make those mistakes, then they don't really give the Saints to me any opportunity to go down. Because I think just in a straight up game, like no turnovers, no nothing, I think the Packers roll them. So they're gonna have to give the Saints some cheap points, give the Saints some free possessions, and then for the Saints too, you can give up a ton of yards, but if you can hold them to field goals, we saw what that Lions game did to them in Green Bay, where they made it. They got up 3 scores on them, but the yardage wise, it really was not that different of a game, or that big of a difference. Just they held them to field goals in the red zone rather than touchdowns. So, but this Saints team is so banged up. I really have no faith that the Saints can go in and pull out an upset here. It's just not in the cards for them this year.
So I'm with you. The one saving grace that this defense does have is they do have 37 sacks on the season, putting them 12th overall. As of the recording this video, we're doing this during Monday Night Football, so maybe those numbers might change a little bit depending on just some of those teams' performances. But if they can somehow get after Jordan Love, but I say that though, and to Green Bay Packers has been one of the most efficient offensive lines throughout the year. Only 17 sacks allowed. Making them second when it comes to sacks allowed on the season. So that's just going to be the one saving grace. But there's just so many injuries going on right now that secondary has been decimated or traded away with Marshawn Lattimore moving. So I'm with you. Is somehow caused turnovers, and Saints have been able to generate some turnovers throughout the year with 16 takeaways so far, putting them in the middle of the road when it comes to that. But in general, though, they're going to need to find lightning in a bottle with Spencer Rattler, and he's going to have to turn into that 5-star prospect that we all know he can be. And so, but I don't know if he has the team around him right now to potentially take that stride.
No, well, he actually might if everyone was healthy, like he might have the opportunity to succeed, but he's throwing to third stringers, practice squad guys, like at the moment, like everybody's so banged up on that team.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just been a tough year for the Saints, but let's go ahead. Let's wrap up this one here. We are both taking the Packers in this Monday Night Football matchup. If you guys have not already, please go ahead and like and subscribe. That is the best way to help out the channel. While you're down there, go and leave a comment on who you think is going to come out ahead. Will it be the Saints? Will it be the Packers? Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.